مساء الخير. معاكم فاطمة ناصف، مدرس الكلينيكال باثولوجي في القسم. تكملة اللي قالته دكتورة وفاء بخصوص ال revision of techniques. هنتكلم عن ال combs direct و indirect cold agglutinin. Here the diagram shows the principle of direct combs, which is the detection of sensitized or coated RBCs by either complement or immunoglobulin, and then we are testing them using the anti-human globulin, which is a pooled or polyspecific anti-IgG or anti-complement or both. The better they can use the polyspecific, which is both have both anti-IgG and anti-complement properties. Here we are seeing the positive cells and the negative cells. The positive cells, the anti-human globulin bind to the coated antibodies in blue, and here I can see the agglutination, whereas the negative cells, the antibody cannot bind to the RBCs, and I can see no agglutination. This slide about the technical how to do the direct comb. Your preferred sample is editor, anticoagulated sample. The method, I'm preparing a 5% RBC suspension. How it is done? I'm washing the RBCs 3 times. What about the wash? I'm adding the normal saline 0.9% to fill the tube, centrifuge, remove the supernatant, and repeating this 3 times. And now I have a washed RBCs. From this washed RBCs, I am taking 50 microns, added to them 950. How I can do? I am putting 1 milli in a plain tube, then I'm removing 50 micron and then adding the 50 micron of RBCs, and now I can have a 5% suspension, adding 2 drops or 100 micron of this suspension to 2 drops of anti-human globulin, which we have mentioned the polyspecific. Then we are incubating in 37 degrees for about half an hour, then centrifugation that augments the reaction, and then read macroscopically and microscopically for agglutination. What about Combs control cells? In negative reaction, I cannot judge if my reagent was not valid. Commercially available sensitized Combs cells or Combs positive cells that are sensitized RBCs that give positive reaction with the direct Combs or the anti-human globulin reagent. Here, what if I found agglutination? That means the RBCs were sensitized in vivo. The most common cause of autoimmune hemolytic anemia. Between brackets, the warm reacting antibody, as I'm testing them in 37 degrees. Also, other results that have direct Combs positive in different reaction, hemolytic transfusion reaction, mismatched transfusion, or it's very rare due to the cross-matching in different blood banks, or hemolytic disease of fetus newborn due to RH or KIL or either antibody. The baby RBCs having a direct Combs reaction. What if I had a negative result and suspected to be a positive result? I have different causes. Improper washing, that if any adsorbent antibody of different specificity were adsorbed to the RBCs, it will block the anti-human globulin from binding to the RBCs. In the term, if I'm testing the sensitized RBCs, not the presence of any antibody, so I must have a washed RBCs. If I didn't wash the RBCs, any antibody from the serum of the patient can block the action of anti-human globulin. This is number 1. Number 2, excessive agitation. What's the meaning of agitation? Excessive manipulation, excessive shaking after centrifugation the agglutination could be found macroscopically and microscopically. What if I had forcibly manipulate and forcibly agitate the sample? That could dissociate the bond if it's weak antibody. And what about of the different antisera or my antisera? My antisera should be polyspecific, not against complement, not against IgG. Should be both IgG and complement. If the antibody is already dissociatable, it can be taken through elution, or it can be found in the serum through the indirect antiglobulin. The presence of other methods for detection, not the microscope or the naked eye, we call them agglutination, which we can use the card gel used widely in blood banks and in different labs. The card gel dismiss many of these causes of the negative reaction. The indirect comb. Here I'm testing the presence of antibody in the patient's serum. Here I'm searching for them, either they have coated the RBCs or not. Here the sensitization is in vitro. I'm testing for an alternative blood, not against the patient autologous blood, so it is in vitro sensitization. Let's see how it is done. Basically, I'm testing the patient serum against a known blood. Usually the most common cause is Rh sensitization. I'm using O positive blood to abolish the presence of isoagglutinins, anti-A or anti-B in different blood groups. So I'm using O blood, O positive blood. Then I'm doing a serial dilution of patient serum to detect the titer. What's the titer? Titer meaning here means the least tube showing agglutination. Then I'm using different serial dilution. How I can do the serial dilution? First tube, I use undiluted serum 200 micron. In the second tube I'm using 100 micron of patient serum, again 300 micron of saline. Here I'm having 400 micron. From the third tube to the 10th tube I'm using serial dilution as it. Already the tubes from the 3 to 10 having 200 micron of normal saline. By adding or by removing from the second tube, I have removed 200 micron, then it will be 200 micron, and then the removed 200 micron are then subsequently in different tubes. بالعربي هنتكلم ان انا عندي اول تيوبه بستخدم السيرم من غير دايليوشن، تاني تيوبه بستخدم 1/4. يعني ايه 1/4؟ 100 مايكرون على 400 مايكرون، 300 مايكرون، 100 على 300 بقوا 400. ال 400 دول هاخد منهم 200 على التيوبه اللي وراها اللي اوريدي فيها 200 مايكرون سلاين. هكذا التخفيف هيقل للنص تباعا، ومن الانبوبه ال10 هاخد اخر 200 ارميهم بره مش هستخدمهم في حاجه. البوزيتيف كنترول بتاعي هو الأوبوست بلاد هتست against the RH anti D، والنيجاتيف كنترول بتاعي بحط نورمال سلاين على الأو بوزيتيف بلاد. يبقى أنا حضرت السيريال دايليوشن. يعني إيه سيريال دايليوشن؟ يعني بستخدم different dilution of patient serum عشان أجيب التتر. أول تيوبة undiluted، تاني تيوبة هستخدمها 1/4، 100 على 300، وبعدين هاخد منها 200 دول هيبقوا زيادة على التيوبة اللي وراها. من أول التيوبة التالتة للتيوبة ال10 اوريدي ببقى حاطة فيهم 200 مايكرون سلاين، وهيفضل اعمل سيريال دايليوشن لحد ما ارمي الباقيين في الايه، في اخر حاجه مش هستخدم. دي السيريال دايليوشن هتست اجينست low positive blood. بحط 200 مايكرون 5% suspension. How I can prepare a 5% suspension? I have a known O cells. I have washed the cells 3 times. I have making 5% by taking 50 micron to 950 micron normal saline. Then of this washed cell suspension I can have it must be freshly prepared, then incubate with patient serum at least 1.5 hours in 37 degrees. This incubation allow the in vitro sensitization as we mentioned before. If the serum of the patient containing antibody that can react with the O positive blood, it will bind. How I can detect the binding? I can detect the binding by the following. I must wash unbound antibody or unbound that have blocked the anti-human globulin reaction. So I must wash. Here's the wash of the unbound immunoglobulin in the patient serum. I must wash the samples after incubation about 3 times. Why? To remove any blocking antibody or any antibody that not bound that could block the action of anti-human globulin. Washing 3 times after the incubation. Then what will we do? We are adding the anti-human globulin and react as direct coomb, but here I have used the antibody incubation insert 7. The anti-human I put in room temperature. Then centrifugation and read. How to read? I have the serial dilution. I have different tests. The serial dilution as it. The first tube I can see positive. If I can see in the first tube, I see positive in undiluted serum. Next tube is 1 to 4. Third 1 to 8. 1 to 16. 1 to 32. 1 to 64. 1 to 1 to 8. 1 to 256. 1 to 50, 1 to 512, 1 to 1000 to 24. السيريال دايليوشن قلناهم. من اول تيوبه هسميها undiluted، تاني تيوبه هسميها 1/4، 1/8، 1/16، 32، 64، 1/128، 1/265، 1/512، 1/1024. بستخدم التتر في ايه؟ والله بيستخدموها حاجات كتير هنقولها بعدين. اصلا لما باجي اشوف تايتريشن، لا واحد عنده انتي بودي وبشوف الانتي بودي ده ماشي ولا لا، بعمل له تايتريشن. سواء بقى هو اوتو اميون او ال اميون، او الموست كومن الحالات اللي فيهم RH sensitization RH positive mothers، او بشوف الانتي بودي تتر بتاعهم، وساعات بيحتاجوا ترانسفيوجن ان نيوترو للبيبيهات دول. هنا اهم اسباب الاندايركت كومز بوزيتيف هو الاوتو اميون هيموريتيك انيميا زي الدايركت، بس قلنا ان انا هستخدم الاندايركت لو الانتي بودي تتر قليل، لو الانتي بودي اي كانوت ديتكت بالدايركت كومز، لو عيان بياخد تريتمنت، لو هحتاج ان انا اشوف الاندايركت ظروفه ايه. تاني حاجة قال له most common في الحاجات المالتي transfused patient. We hear different blood banks we are using the ABO and RH grouping. What about the minor groups? What about the multi transfused patients that can, if he's in rare or in a subgroup, he can make antibody. He can make antibody against different groups that we are not tested to routinely in blood bank, but it could be detected by the presence of antibodies that will give a positive mismatched result. Hemolytic disease of fetus and newborn is the plasma of the mother or the serum of the mother having antibodies that cross the placenta and causing hemolytic disease of fetus newborn. Most common is the ABO incompatibility that having antibodies against A or B blood group, but I'm here when I'm saying the hemolytic disease of fetus newborn that give indirect coomb result positive, I'm meaning the RH or kill or other immunogenics that I'm testing the IgG. In secreting lymphoma, secretory lymphoma having autoimmune manifestation, can be autoimmune hemolytic anemia, can be any autoimmune properties that can give the positive direct or indirect or both results. Technique, the third technique that we can talk about, the cold agglutinin test. What's the cold agglutinin? I'm aiming to test for antibodies that cause agglutination of RBCs in vivo. This antibody I have must testing at 4 degrees. In the name cold agglutinin, normally adult serum contain positive cold agglutinin up to a low titer 1 to 32. Which tube is the fifth tube. Higher titer can be found in chronic cold heme agglutinin disease. Here, as we said, the cold agglutinin or antibodies that react in the cold, causing RBC's agglutination. They can have several clinical pictures in cold heme agglutinin disease. They can do clumping of RBCs. Usually they are IgM that have pentamers and can bind many RBCs at one time, different binding sites than the IgG. And then it can include blood vessels under the skin, mostly in the peripheries, in the cold weather that cause very different spectrum of clinical picture. Can cause pain in the hand periphery and numbness. In severe cases, it can include the vessel and causing skin necrosis and gangrene. In tips of fingers and toes, in tip of the nose. This in the severe cases. How I can clinically, not the lab, how I can differentiate between this and the vasculitis itself? Here the symptom is revised or reversed by the higher temperature. So in some cases that cause pain and numbness on the periphery of the hand called Raynaud's phenomenon. If cold agglutinin is the cause of this, it can cause pain and numbness in the periphery, but in the reverse occur by increasing the temperature of the body, which is not seen in vasculitis. In vasculitis, the reaction or the vessel is inflamed itself, regarding the temperature. Next, if the thermal range of antibody can react in 37 degree, can fix a complement, can cause intravascular hemolysis, it's a cause of autoimmune hemolytic anemia. Cold agglutinin can result in the different as a body reaction against different organisms. The most common is mycoplasma pneumonia. Following a typical pneumonia, some patients can suffer from heme agglutinin disease. Also, it can be found secondary to lymphoma. And then, how I can test for heme agglutinin. The heme agglutinin, my sample is a serum, like the indirect coomb or the indirect antiglobulin test. But I'm having some tips and hacks. During sampling, it's preferred to pre-warm the tube and pre-warm the vacutainer or the syringe that we have used, as in low temperatures the antibodies are tightly bound to the RBCs and I cannot elute them, so I must have sample of the venipuncture in higher temperature to preserve antibody in the serum. And then let the sample have clotted in 37 degree for the same purpose as in room temperature, or in lower temperature the antibody are bound to the RBCs tightly and I cannot find them in the serum, and I got a false negative result due to a pre-analytical variable. Here I can incubate also for 1 hour or 1.5 hours or more. Some labs do overnight incubation in the refrigerator, 4 degrees. It's a pentamer antibodies as we are testing for IgM. Here I don't have to put the anti-human globulin, and the reaction are strong, are obvious and seen macroscopically. I don't need to augment them by the anti-human globulin step. So no need for 3 times wash, no need for the anti-human globulin step. It's preferred to read the cold agglutinin in cold condition. If I need to read it microscopically, I must pre-freeze or refrigerate slides and tips and saline, as the antibodies dissociate in 37 degree and in room temperature. It depends on the thermal range of these antibodies. So it's better to have the sample in 37 degree. Why? To keep the antibodies in the serum and can detect them and detect their titer subsequently. And if I need to read it microscopically, I must pre-freeze or refrigerate my saline, my saline, my covers, my tips, as these antibodies dissociate in higher temperature. No need for the anti-human globulin results. But I use the same conditions: 10 tubes, serial dilution of tubes, and positive control tube and negative control tube. I have the same titer and the same serial dilutions. I got incubate with the positive suspension. We have mentioned before how to prepare, and then incubate in the fridge, and then no need for the wash 3 times, the anti-human globulin step, and no need even for centrifugation. I must not hardly manipulate, and I must not get the tubes to be heated. I must read immediately after it got from the fridge.